pressure environment, the constant movement, the demands of the body as well. We need to be fueled, or else we're battling, excessive fatigue, brain fog, irritability, and that can creep in really, really, really fast when you don't have the proper nutrition coming in. So basically, you want to balance your energy levels, right? We need to have complex carbs, we need proteins, we need healthy fat. So this prevents the energy crashes. I know a lot of stewardesses. I'm not so sure about the boys because I don't really work with too many men on board, but I know a lot of the women, they are starting their shifts on a black coffee or a cappuccino and they're going into service. And that's just a recipe for disaster with, you're going into late service, so you're packing up the breakfast and there's all those cookies and muffins and croissants that are all left over. And guess who's picking on them? It's the person that didn't have breakfast. They haven't balanced their blood sugars and they're just running off of sugar and caffeine, basically. So that's a recipe for disaster. So we want to focus on balancing our energy levels. We need to balance our moods and have mental clarity. So we need our protein and our fibers. We can think about nutrients like omega-3s. This can also be for supplementation. So if you're not getting enough, if you're not having salmon or fatty fish twice a week, and that's a minimum requirement, and I know it's not happening on a lot of vessels, you need to take an omega-3 supplement. You can also take B vitamins or magnesium for brain function. But yeah, it's the nutrition for yacht crew. It goes beyond saying that it is one of the most important factors for mental health and well-being.
Do you maybe recommend, Katrina, to make like a diet, to make like like a routine for when work?
Not necessarily a diet, but you have to have some kind of nutritional awareness of what are you lacking. So for example, if someone is lactose free or dairy free and they're having oat milks and almond milks and they're not having regular yogurt, you have to make sure that those yogurt alternatives or milk alternatives are fortified with calcium. You can't just, so in my regular kind of day-to-day working with crew, I'm kind of always battling with the wellness wankery. Like there's so much information on social media and people think that it's okay or that it's healthy to just stop eating dairy or, cut out milk or cut out this and that. But actually that's doing you a disservice and it's not actually for your better interest in mind. You have to make sure, okay, if I'm cutting out dairy, that's okay, but what am I missing out on? I need calcium.
Mm-hmm. Do you find it correct to have the leftovers from the guests, like to pinch on those extra meals leftovers? Like, I know you
well
made on it, so I really would like to talk about it because for me,
depends.
I don't allow my crew to eat from these leftovers.
Well, I really believe in structure. You have to have structure in your eating. And what's happening with a lot of yacht crews, they're having double meal services. So they have their crew meals and then they go into guest service. And a lot of the times crew will skip their crew meal because they're just too busy. And so they end up picking at the guest meals, which is not actually a proper meal. Like you need to take your time to sit down with your food, even if it's 10 minutes. You can mindfully eat in a rush in 10 minutes using, I have 10 minutes to get this food in, but it's your meal and that's your time. And that's really, really, really important is structure with your eating 100%. Because what I'm seeing is what Callie was talking about. It's that monkey mind of people not looking after themselves nutritionally, thinking that, oh, I'm just going to fast until 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock because I've heard fasting is the most incredible thing for my health. Sure, fasting can be great, but not on a yacht when you're working 16-hour days and you're surrounded by such food abundance and the temptation and that monkey mind starts to take over. And then you have the cookies and you have one croissant and you go, oh, I've completely ruined my fast. And so they start to eat more and more and more. And then you get into that kind of roller coaster feeling out of control around food.
Mm-hmm. And what would be your opinion on shakers? I know many of chief stewardess or stewardess are going on shakers all day.
Of course, real food will always be better. That's hopefully any nutritionist, that will be their stance, is that nothing will beat real food because you just don't absorb the nutrients from something that's heavily processed as a shake or a meal replacement, as having a meal. So always food first, and not relying on supplementation, but using supplementation to enhance as needed.
Thank you
What
very
about
much.
vitamin complex? Like if you take, for example, A, B, C, D, then omega-3, and then another minerals while in the season.
Well, you do have to be careful with certain minerals that are fat soluble because they can build up into liver and cause toxicity. So, for example, zinc is one to be very careful of. So, your vitamins A, D, E, K, and zinc, especially. So, some multivitamins or different vitamins will have zinc in them. So, you just have to look out for that. Um, but in a lot of the cases, it's no harm, no foul, as long as it's kind of like a minimum dose. So, ideally, you do want to yeah, you want to have nothing high dosage, basically. And it's always best just to check with a nutritionist just to see if what you're taking is okay. Because as Sarah was saying, there is such a trend now, and yes, I do have my own supplements as well, but there is such a trend to take so many different supplements, but they can be very supportive, but the use is to support, not to rely.
Yeah.
Katrina, could I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. So say you had a crew member, and obviously this is all about stress. So they're feeling really stressed, their energy levels are low, which is adding to that stressed response that they're feeling, and it's just really hard not to just be have that temptation of going into the crew mess, opening that cupboard and picking up a really sugary, quick release food. What would be your recommendations to curb that?
That's actually funny because what you said about asking yourself with the monkey mind and trying to identify where you are in your head and in your body, do I really want this right now? And that's the one thing I speak about with my clients is you in the beginning you won't be able to do it, right? In the beginning you have that urge, and that urge kind of it overrides you and it's very powerful, but every time you try to implement the thought process of, oh, do I really want this right now? The answer generally is always going to be no. You don't want this right now. It's just an urge, it's just an impulse. So that's what we try to do is we try to bring in that kind of more rational thinking and that rational mind into our food behaviors.
Yeah, absolutely. And exploring those different techniques to boost your energy levels without the use of a load of sugar, isn't it?
Sugar. Yeah, exactly.
Sugar, the easiest
Very
sugar. Thank you so much, Katrina. So is Mariana with us?
Mariana?
Hello. Yes, I'm here. I just not being allowed yet to put my video. If you can allow me, the host
We are
has to allow me.
trying, we are trying to allow videos. You can start speaking and we will try it. I don't know why it's not working.
Because I can see you all. Let's see now. No, it says you can't start your video because the
Yes,
host.
it was the same for all of us.
Yes.
But if you
Okay.
want, you can speak and then we will try in the middle.
Well,
Mariana,
thank you. I'm sorry.
you're a yoga teacher. Welcome.
Yes, I'm a Kundalini yoga teacher and also I'm a family constellation therapist and psychotherapist, and also work a lot with craniosacral therapy. That means like all the memory and stress in the body. And I'm the founder of a company and a conscious lifestyle company based in Mallorca, and we have a beautiful studio in the heart of the city. And I'm saying this because I get to work with a lot of people who work at the yachts already, and I can really 100% feel and understand what Callie was sharing and Katrina. Like I can witness like the amount of stress that the people that come to my space when they're looking for a yoga class or a therapy, it's usually after having a long season or traveling long. So one of the things that I of course would love to share is very simple techniques that those who are watching the webinar can take with them right now and start practicing them. Why? Because it's true everything that we've been hearing on how we react immediately into the fight or flight, or also how we need to have sort of a discipline in when it comes to eating. And I would like to add to all of that what it's also very important is to have the energy within our system to be able to take ourselves out of these situations, like emotional situation. And this is why I love Kundalini Yoga so much, because it's a very kind of practical, fast, and very very accurate tool to have and to take you out of the fight or flight mode very quickly, changing, regulating your nervous system in a very easy way. And for that, I would love to have the video in order to share with you some of the breathing techniques that I prepared for you, because this is a pranayama that it's so easy to do when you're on board. Like, it really takes less than 5 minutes to change your mood. So I wanted to share two exercises. One is to deal, as you were saying, Kali, with the anger, because I know it's so demanding when you are in such a small place, very reduced space, to really be able to deal with your emotions, right? It feels like so overwhelming. So the first technique I'd like to share is how to metabolize very quickly the emotion of anger and frustration. And the second one will be a pranayam to regulate the nervous system, calm anxiety, and then have a much more neutral mind. That will really help you to deal with the situation that all of you deal with. So for that, definitely I will need to just be in the video so you can see the posture and the way we do the exercise. So if you just allow me that, that'll be great.
You have to ask Mariana to me, I
Yes,
think. Um,
to be
to be
host.
like amphitryon, like
Okay,
okay,
sure.
ask me and then
me um let me do that.
you can click on participantes, then
Yes.
go to panelistas, then go to the 3 points on the bottom of the square and say reclamar anfitrión or I want to be anfitrión.
Yes, that one's, I'm just trying.
I would share my what
I'm
what
just
I do
looking
to
for
calm
the
down
three
myself
little,
in a while. So till you
sorry.
feel.
I'm trying to do it at the
Yeah, I'm trying to, yeah, now.
or go
See?
to the video. Well,
Oh no, I'm so sorry, but it's hard to show this without the
you
video.
wanted to show it in person, like doing yourself.
Yeah, because then you can see how to do it. You can learn how to do it. But I don't find these three little spots here on panelists.
Can I ask you a question, Mariana?
Sure.
So I meditate every morning or before going to bed, which is taking 10 to 15 minutes for my meditation process, okay? Many times I do not have the time to do it like every day. These techniques that you are mentioned before are techniques that sometimes when we are in high stress or we are like in disputes are going to help the crew member instantly relax and just with this relaxation find a peace of mind and then communicate better and
Yes, exactly. This will give you the capacity to deal, of course, with anxiety. I mean, when we talk about these situations when you have a lot of stress or anxiety, what becomes a little frustrated is that, of course, you mentally want to change that. I think now I'm a host.
Yes, I'm doing you a host. Yeah. Let's see now.
Okay, let's see.
This technology is, oh my God.
Now, thank you. Good. So great. Let's jump into the practice because I think this will really give us the
You're very
experience.
interested.
And I think there's nothing like experiencing. So, two techniques I want to share, and I know we're very short on time.
No,
So
it's okay.
I'll
It's
do
okay,
one that
Mariana.
it
Yeah.
takes only 3 minutes. And this will allow you to first build a lot of cardiac capacity, lung capacity. So you will have prana in your system, you will have energy. But this precise pranayam will help you metabolize anger and frustration. And being in such a reduced space, you need to have like the capacity to very quickly move your emotions, very quickly move your the emotions through the body. So as we know, emotions goes through the body, and this is a very easy way to move the emotion through the body. So what we'll do is you're gonna always bring the thumb under the pinky finger like this. This is your communication channel, by the way, and you're pressing with this thumb that many times represent the ego. So you're bringing your ego, your personality in under your Mercury channel, your meridians related to communication and your heart. And then you close like this. And this is what we'll do. And we'll do really literally 3 minutes. And you just look at my movement. If you see, I don't go lower than the heart center. So I keep it here. And you're going to have the eyes closed and slightly roll towards the third eye. And we're going to be breathing strongly through the mouth like this. Getting to a rhythm with your breath. Now intensify the breath and the movement. Keep the eyes closed, keep the rhythm going. Now start to really squeeze into that thumb with the thumb, you know, the rest of the fingers are squeezing on the thumb. Squeeze the fist. Now start to get very mad, very angry. For that, you just need to think about something that makes you mad, angry. Bring into the screen of your mind a situation, a person, whatever makes you mad, and just speed up. Now really start moving that energy of anger through your body, through your system. That requires that you get even more mad, more angry. Don't be afraid of your anger. Move it through your body by moving the arms, squeezing the thumb, and breathing very strongly. Just 1 minute to go, so use it. Keep fighting, like really see a situation, a person, or a memory that gets you very mad and move it through the body as you breathe. 30 seconds to go. Feet up. Take a deep inhale through the mouth. Interlace the fingers like this. And stretch up and hold the air in. Stretch. Hold the air. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the mouth. Now stretch and surround yourself with a very high frequency vibration, like emotion of gratitude, compassion, joy. Exhale, mouth. Inhale, mouth. Stretch. Stretch more and strongly see yourself surrounded by white golden light, and grow the space around you. Grow the space around you. Exhale, mouth. Very gently, very slowly. Hands down, and feel the magnetic field around you, the aura. You need to have a lot of space around you when you're in a small place like a yacht. A lot of energetic space. Your aura. And now bring the left hand to the heart, right on top. Long deep breath through the nose. And focus on the space around your physical body. Focus on the space around the physical body and imagine this radiant golden light expanding around you. Radiant, solid, clear. Bring both hands in prayer pose. And just remember this mantra. Sat means truth, Nam identity. There's a space within yourself that can never be shaken, can never be touched, can never be hurt. That is the true self, the space of your true Sat Nam. Whenever you need, just meditate on the mantra Sat Nam to go into that space of infinite essence. Inhale deep. Exhale long. And Sat Nam. So this is what I'll love to gift you today, this amazing, powerful pranayama to metabolize your anger. And hopefully we can continue in any other occasion to explore more tools that you can always have within that space of being in a yacht.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Very good, Mariana. Yeah.
I will fight tomorrow.
So good now.
Energized. Thank you. And thank you for beautiful also all the information, Kali, Katrina, and thank you for organizing this, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
For having you. Maite, could you tell us a little bit what are some practical stress management strategies for us head of departments, how we can implement to support team?
Yes, exactly. We have seen now the perspective from the individual, no, how each of us can ourselves manage the stress, but also as a managers, we can help to have in our team a better environment, and also help or reduce the stress that the season, the situations on board can lead us, no. There is like 5 or 6 points very important as a leadership styles or strategy. One will be clear communication and expectations. If we clear communicate what we expect from our team, what are the standards, it creates less uncertainty, less confusion, and people know more what they have to do, and they are more more tranquilos. They understand better their roles, the responsibility, goals. This is a basic. Then a second factor will be a supportive and empathetic leadership. It means that we listen, we pay attention, we are present in the moment when we are with our team, when we are communicated with some of our crew members, we listen to them, we make them feel important. Then this creates a psychological safe environment where the team members will feel like supported, that they are important for us. And then to tell you, this is help a lot to feel more secure, to feel less stressed. Encourage the open discussions, that they can communicate to us, that they can tell us what they feel, what is important to them. But any kind of communication in the operation itself. Then, of course, a fair delegation, no work balance, good delegation. This also will help a lot. Also, it's very important that us as a manager act quickly in front of conflict. That also Kali have speak about that. A good conflict resolution in place is important. As soon as there is a conflict, that we act. Most of the time, the manager as a mediator, preventing unnecessary stress, bad environment, that people feel bad, toxic, frustration. If they know that when there is a conflict, we act, that they can that we have a system in place, they will feel more secure, as we have said, and more better, in a nice environment. Then also is very important, the recognition. We have said empathy, but also recognition is very important. Recognition, say thank you when they did something well, recognize to them. They make them feel also the good hormones in the body that release stress, release the cortisol, release the adrenaline, because the recognition, the empathy, and other human emotions is been demonstrated in studies that release the bad hormones like cortisol, like adrenaline, and all the causes of stress. And also provide them an environment that they can grow, that they provide them, don't give them always the same routine, provide challenge, provide an enrichment, environment that they can learn. The training also is very important. All of these factors will help in the perspective of leadership, of managers, to create an environment where our team feels supported, feels good, and they will release easily the stress, and they cope the situations with more confidence. Then C is the leadership that fosters trust, balance, communications. And the end, they will cope better with the stress.
So a mix of transformational and transactional leadership styles.
Exactly, yes, participative.
Kali, real life situation. So I delegate to my second and third stew and fourth stew, and many times my second stew, because she's my right hand, right? She's getting stressed, and then my other stews get stressed with her. Not me being too demanding as a chief stew or as a head of department. How would be a good advice for me to approach my stews and to understand on what stress level they are, and what would you advise me to do to just make them lower the stress and make them feel more confident in their fields?
Good question, Sarah. And I think Meta touched upon it. It's that communication that's key. Having that open communication, talking about stress, talking about emotions, and having a safe space that that the stew could feel that they could say to you, this is how I'm kind of feeling. And then it's about developing that whole culture on the yacht. You know, if you are doing these practices, if you are doing some breathing techniques, or you are doing those, you know, the exercise that we kindly done, and it was brilliant. You know, if everyone can see that you're buying into a culture that you want to be self-aware and you want to manage your stress, and that's going to have kind of a ripple effect. So by you being that role model of and showing and talking about and communicating and actually saying, I'm feeling stressed, this is how I'm feeling, or and identifying those emotions, giving it that safe space for them to go, it's okay to communicate how I'm feeling. And actually we've, as a whole team member, we're managing it. We know how to manage it. You know, you could say to them, you know, just take 5 minutes to do a breathing exercise, box breathing, you know, 4 in, hold, 4 out, hold. It's just having that reassurance that you understand, you empathize, it is stressful, and that communicating is understanding that, seeing it. You know, everyone wants to be seen, heard, and understood. And as a leader, that's really important that they feel that way. But it's also saying, do you know what? Even if you can't right then, take those 5 minutes, 2 minutes, but you do the whatever a task is at hand and say, just take 5 minutes. You know, go and move the body, go and get all those thoughts that's in your head, move it through your body, breathing, stretching, finding ways, and have that conversation. How do you manage stress? Encourage them to find ways that they know that they've got when they're feeling stressed, when they're under pressure, when it's challenging, that there's a place that they can go and they can kind of manage their own stress. And it's all of you buying into taking that responsibility of owning your own stress, controlling that chimp.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. It's very important, but it's also so difficult to manage it, and mostly for younger stewardess, you know, on the 20s. And yes, and absolutely, it's really good to hear like how mostly we can manage our stress and to have more self-awareness around our career and our job.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the reason why the psychometric profiling tool is so helpful, because when you understand your teammates' mindsets and their behaviors and what pushes their buttons when they're under pressure, when they've got to make decisions, when they're under stress, you can kind of work with that. You can recognize the signs, and that opens up that communication. And ultimately, in the profiling, is how to get the best out of each other and how to manage those stress. So that's why it's a really good having that awareness as an individual and as a team. It's a powerful tool.
Katrina, how valuable would you think that would be to have a nutritionist on board for the crew and for the guests? And do you see it somewhere near in the yachting industry for us to have someone like you on board?
Well, I'm no bias whatsoever, but that is what we see the direction of the industry going into. It is invaluable to have a nutritionist on board because I was on board for 6 years. I've worked with some absolutely incredible chefs. I've worked with some absolutely atrocious chefs where everything is deep fried. I'm not even joking. It should not be happening in such an elite industry where you're having pub food for the crew. Pizzas, burgers, fish and chips, steak and kidney pies, Guinness pies, you know, pigs in a blanket, this kind of stuff. It's pub food. If you want to go have pub food, go to the pub, not on a yacht. It doesn't have a place. And that's the direction that we are going with nutrition, which is really, really, really exciting. Not necessarily to overhaul everything, but more so just to provide guidance, and because it cannot fall onto the HODs. They have enough responsibilities, and also the captain as well. So what tends to happen, unfortunately, is you'll have a incredible yacht chef and you'll have a captain who has a certain affinity for, let's say, maybe that pub style of food. So the chef will then cater to what the captain likes. to eat. And then the captain will say, oh, thank you so much for that fish and chips. That was the best meal. Like, that's amazing. And the chef goes, okay, this is the type of food the captain likes to eat. So this is the type of food that I will put out more frequently. So, it's more about educating about the dietary requirements and standards, moving it past just MLC requirement, which is basically balanced meals. That's all it says within MLC regulation. But, for example, just serving lasagna for dinner, that's not good enough. We need to have vegetables, we need to have proteins and fish and mix of this and that. And yeah, so there's a lot to be touched on in this space. Not even talking about the obesogenic environment of the crew mess. I don't know if that can change because we can use a lot of that food in emergency situations, all those ultra processed, long shelf life foods. But is there a limit to it? Do we have to have 15 types of biscuits, 15 types of chocolate bars, all those M&Ms and stuff like this and that? I'm pretty sure that the owners would like to cut down the crew mess budget on those particular foods if he knows it's going to improve the well-being and longevity of his crew. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a big conversation to be had here.
Yeah, true, true. I used to put on my crew mess fridge that they are allowed it just to one chocolate bar per day and
Rations.
one soft drink, maximum two per day, just to keep it in order and not to overdo it.
Yeah, well, I think people do overdo it because of the freeness aspect. They tend to think, oh wow, this is
it. Yes, as much as
yeah,
we can now that we have it.
exactly. And so that's kind of one of my educational standpoints is that food is never a free for all. You're causing yourself harm and a disservice when you do consume in that manner, anything in that manner, right? There has to be moderation for everything.
And also, let's say also that I had crew that are particularly fit and they eat very healthy on board and they train when they can. Their protein, their vitamins,
Sports is very important as well. I mean, a little bit of exercise, as the yoga, no, with Mariana and mind meditation, but a little bit of sports helps you to get rid of the cortisol as well. That is one of the principal of hormones of the stress.
And we have to say as well as an advice that a good and healthy program would take you longer on the yacht because
Exactly.
interior and for the deck as well, like you have an age limit. So I think that
some marinas are doing now a program which is one yoga session or 2 yoga sessions per week for any crew, and also one running yoga session at 8 o'clock and running session at 5:30 or so to keep. Of course, during the season is not possible sometimes, but more and more, are things in place.
Okay. So any of the panelists would like to say something more, to add something more before to pass the questions? Okay.
Assistance.
Any one of the attendees? Now questions are open to the panelists.
Now I think it was like a 35 people, and now I think it's 15 or so. And yeah, maybe it's less attendees now.
Well, I see we have some chief stews here.
We have one girl here, Adriana Velea.
Okay, well,
There is some questions. A ver. No, asistente anónimo, really? No. I think it's nobody. It looks like somebody, but it's anonymous.
okay, so thank you very much, everyone. Kali, thank you very much for your insights. Katrina as well. Mariana, thank you very much for this technique. We will for sure, for me, specifically pass it on my crew.
Yes, I will keep it in mind myself as well.
And, as a Greek philosopher well said, good health and good mental health.
Okay,
So,
thank you, thank you. If you want to send a little presentation, we will send to the registered attendants, but maybe we have a 35 or 40 on the system, and then yes, and then also we will share the recording.
you can share the recording,
Okay.
Katrina, share the PDF. You can find them on Instagram. Reach to
Okay.
them if you have any questions or would you like any advice more than what have been saying in this webinar. Thank you again, and let's hope to have another webinar with more insight
Yeah.
and also some crew members that have some real life situations to share with us. Thank you so much.
Okay. Then thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.